go. Happy Friday morning out there. We got lots to talk about here in this video today. We're talking about daily chances for severe weather as we head through the weekend time frame, as well as a potentially historic heat wave for portions of the southern and central plains and the desert southwest as we head towards late this month. And also the active tropics continue across the eastern Pacific as well. We'll get to all that here and much more in this video, so definitely stick with me here as I will be going over all the weather content here that you need to know as we head through the next couple of weeks. If you guys have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, definitely hit the subscribe button down below, as much appreciated, as well as hit that like button down below as well at the end of the video. Definitely much appreciated as well. Thanks everybody for joining here today. Looking kind of at the upper heights across the United States, you can see a strong ridge is extending here across portions of the central and southern plains and westward here into the Four Corners and desert southwest as we head through the afternoon hours here today. And areas here underneath that ridge are expected to see high temperatures well into the 90s and lower 100s again across these familiar areas. North Texas here, all the way north here into portions of Oklahoma, Kansas, getting into the Ozarks here. Lots of 100s out there. Phoenix getting up to near 112 as we head into this afternoon as well. So a lot of heat out there. And that heat also expands up into portions there of southern Canada as well. Southern portions there of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, with temperatures up there actually approaching the 90-degree mark this afternoon as well. Kind of looking around that ridge, we still have to watch for these mid-level disturbances kind of rounding the upper kind of crest of this ridge across portions here of the northern Rockies and northern plains as we head into this afternoon. And the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe weather from east central portions of Montana into western portions of North Dakota as we head into this afternoon. A marginal risk kind of extending down into northern Wyoming and western South Dakota as well. Kind of looking at the individual hazards here with the storms today, we can see here a 15% risk here of damaging winds across east central Montana into western North Dakota. Kind of that 5% chance here of damaging wind potential across western South Dakota as well as northern Wyoming as we head through the afternoon and evening as well. Kind of a lower end kind of threat for hail, the large hail threat, kind of about a 5% chance. Centered on east central Montana into western North Dakota, kind of lesser instability across these areas. So I'm thinking the main threat will be damaging winds, followed by the large hail, and then that tornado threat is actually less than 2%. So not really worried about a tornado threat as we head through the day today at all as well. Kind of looking at the reflectivity here and using the NAM model, looking at late this afternoon, you can see kind of some showers and storms starting to develop here in scattered fashion across western and central Montana. Those will propagate eastward and kind of organize a little bit better across eastern Montana as we head into the after dinner time frame, and kind of some shower and storm activity, maybe some stronger weather across portions there of northern Wyoming, but farther south towards Denver, mainly just kind of that garden variety type thunderstorm activity, maybe some heavy rainfall, some small pea-sized hail, and maybe some gusty winds to about 30 miles per hour. Not really looking at too much of a severe weather threat down there. But farther to the north, we're still watching some severe weather across portions of the Dakotas as we head here into the overnight period here into the evening and overnight hours here on your Friday into early Saturday morning. That will propagate across the western Dakotas kind of toward that midnight time frame, with some showers and storms kind of developing farther south into portions of western Nebraska and portions of western and central South Dakota as well as we head into the after midnight time frame. Looking at kind of the rainfall amounts here up here, not expecting too much in the way of rainfall, kind of averaging around a quarter to half an inch here in most places. Some areas that get some heavier repeated rounds of heavy rain could approach that inch mark, especially as you get up here to North Dakota or southeastern Saskatchewan. But other than that, down towards the front range of the Rockies here in Denver, probably averaging around a quarter to half an inch here of rainfall from that as well. But looking farther here to the east, we kind of have a complex of showers and storms moving across portions of Iowa, Wisconsin, and northern Illinois as we head into the morning hours here today. That'll propagate its way through the Chicagoland area, Milwaukee, Rockford, Illinois, as we head through the afternoon hours here, bringing some heavy rain, maybe some isolated stronger wind gusts up to about 40 miles per hour. Here's the pea-sized hail. Nothing too big here across this area. And then as we kind of move towards that dinner time frame, again, some lingering showers and storms for portions here of northern Indiana, Carolina, the Chicagoland area, as this continues to kind of fall apart as it pushes here into the Ohio Valley here into the evening hours today. They did actually remove the marginal risk here across portions of Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois here in Missouri for that, the evening hours here today, as the thermodynamic environment is really unfavorable with the storms here refiring across this area later this afternoon. Earlier expectations were a marginal risk for severe weather with the potential of some redevelopment across this area in southern Wisconsin, eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, but kind of reassessing. The Storm Prediction Center did kind of reassess the thermodynamic environment, and they said, yeah, the thermodynamic environment is not going to be, suited for any severe weather across that region. So they did remove that in their latest outlook. Kind of looking as we head towards the weekend time frame here on your Saturday, again, that ridge will continue to stay anchored across portions of the Four Corners region, and then we got to look around the northern periphery of all that heat. Again, we got to look for another mid-level disturbance, but before then, a lot of heat out there, 100-degree temperatures here. From portions of Wichita all the way down through Oklahoma City, northwest Texas. We're approaching 105 down towards Wichita Falls, 115 degrees down towards portions there of the Phoenix area, as well as down towards Death Valley. So very hot down in those areas as we head here through the Saturday afternoon time frame. We got temperatures rising into the upper 90s up toward the Billings area, up towards Helena, and then up towards even some lower 90s in portions there of southern Alberta, south central Saskatchewan, and western portions of Manitoba as we head here into that Saturday afternoon time frame. But again, looking at the northern periphery of all that heat, we still got to watch the stronger jet stream. We kind of got a little another mid-level disturbance rounding the crest of the ridge, and we can see that here a little bit kind of some excess wind shear across portions of eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, and northwestern Missouri, and also northeastern Kansas as we head towards that Saturday evening time frame. And that's why the Storm Prediction Center does have that marginal risk across these areas from the central Dakotas down through west central portions of Nebraska, northern Kansas, so areas like Kansas City, back towards North Platte here, Lincoln, Nebraska, and then kind of on up into portions of the Dakotas. Kind of an isolated severe threat with mainly damaging winds as we head into that Saturday afternoon evening time frame. And I'll show you that here, some showers and storms continuing to on-go here across portions of the morning hours here on your Saturday across portions of South Dakota, getting into central Nebraska, far northern Kansas. Those will scoot off to the east here. We'll have some daytime heating. We'll kind of destabilize the atmosphere a little bit, and then we'll have some isolated to scattered thunderstorms develop in the peak heating time frame of the day, mid to late afternoon, so that 3, 4, 5 o'clock time frame across portions here of South Dakota and down southwestward into portions of Nebraska as well. And that'll continue to kind of see more isolated storms develop through the evening hours here with that peak daytime heating across the Dakotas, getting down into Nebraska, northern Kansas, places like Kansas City, like I said, Lincoln, Nebraska, the Omaha area, and then getting back up here into portions like Rapid City in South Dakota. Yeah, we got some isolated strong to severe storms potentially across that marginal risk zone as we head into the evening hours on your Saturday. That'll kind of scoot off to the east. We'll have kind of a heavy rain complex or an MCS develop across portions of the Ozarks and on up toward the middle Mississippi Valley across most of the state of Missouri as we head into portions of your Saturday evening, and that'll kind of scoot off towards St. Louis and toward the Ohio Valley for your Sunday. But just generally looking at the rainfall here for your Saturday, not looking at too much here. Some localized areas approaching an inch here across portions of the eastern Dakotas down through central Nebraska, with that heavier rain complex starting to develop from the Kansas City area on eastward towards the Mississippi Valley and the Ozarks there. Maybe some enhanced rainfall approaching 2 inches in some of those areas, especially in northern Missouri, as we can see some heavier rainfall amounts down there with some heavier downpours expected during the overnight hours into your Sunday morning. But again, as we head into early next week, we're going to be watching another feature here that I was mentioning in my other video before. We kind of got a stronger shortwave trough that'll start to develop here and kind of dig more to the east and then southeast with time as we head into early and middle portion of next week. And you can see that ridge kind of centered across portions of the Four Corners and the south central plains here to the north across the Pacific Northwest, as well as southwestern Canada, so southern Alberta and portions of southwestern Saskatchewan. Yeah, we're starting to see a stronger shortwave trough develop on your Monday, and that will continue to kind of push eastward across the northern plains, the Dakotas, into northern Minnesota as we head into that Tuesday time frame. And then even on Wednesday, it'll really deepen here. We'll have some cooler weather for portions of the Great Lakes into the New England region, where that ridge kind kind of starts to back off a little farther to the west across the west coast and especially the desert southwest as we head towards the middle and late portion here of next week with that trough up into the Great Lakes. And kind of seeing that related to the surface here, we have a lot of heat. Look at this heat across portions of the Red River down towards Texas here. We got Wichita Falls approaching 110 on your Monday, a 97 widespread or higher across portions here of Kansas, all the way up into western Nebraska, western portions of the Dakotas. We could be up to 102 here in Billings, Montana. A lot of heat out there across portions of the central southern plains and even the northern plains. This is really going to be moving up to the north here as we head into that Monday time frame. Tuesday's time frame, we could have widespread 110s across western Oklahoma, southern Kansas here, and northwest Texas into the Texas Panhandle during that time frame. And that just continues for another day on that Wednesday time frame here as we get into the middle of next week, whereas we have that kind of shortwave trough kind of digging down across portions of the Great Lakes. We still have some cooler temperatures up in those areas, kind of struggling to get out of the 70s and 80s across portions here of Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, upper lower Michigan, as well as portions of New England as we head through that time frame. But look at off to the west, just lots of heat, and this could be kind of a historic heat wave across portions of the Texas area, as well as Oklahoma and Kansas as we kind of head towards the early and middle portion of next week. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on. And I am especially concerned about this due to the fact that we have extreme and exceptional drought really starting to rapidly expand across Texas as well as New Mexico and much of the desert southwest here. We've had worsening drought conditions ever since the turn of the year here on 2022, and this just looks to continue here for the next several days and weeks ahead as no relief in the foreseeable future is kind of, on the horizon. So that is kind of unfortunate for those areas. But kind of looking up to the north here with this shortwave trough, we got a stronger kind of surface low pressure system developing by your Monday afternoon time frame, kind of a 997 millibar low across eastern Montana. And then this kind of moves off towards portions here of eastern Minnesota, northwestern Wisconsin with kind of an arcing band of some showers and storms up around International Falls, Duluth, Minnesota. Could have some stronger to severe storms as well up there here with all that wind shear in place with that strong trough. And that kind of continues on your Wednesday, maybe some strong to severe storms in isolated fashion across portions there of eastern portions of the Ohio Valley into western New England as we head towards that Wednesday time frame as well, with a 995 millibar low developing right over kind of areas like Toronto and portions here of southeastern Canada during that time frame, bringing lots of wind and lots of rainfall potentially across those areas as the heat really takes its center stage across portions of the southern and central plains here in the wake of all of this troughing across the Great Lakes. And you can see that here reflected on the Climate Prediction Center's forecast, 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. July 22nd through the 28th, guys, we're seeing a lot of above normal temperatures across portions of the northern Rockies, into the northern plains, and then really centered across central and northern Texas, getting into southern Oklahoma, likely above average temperatures continuing, and just most of the country kind of above average during this period as well. But underneath that ridge, across Texas, all the way up into portions of the central and northern plains, the upper Midwest, and portions of the northern Rockies, on the Pacific Northwest, we're really just not going to see a lot of rainfall here with all this heat building, in exception to some of the monsoonal areas across portions of Arizona and getting into the Four Corners, as well as that kind of tropical influence of moisture across portions of the southeastern United States, and then kind of rising more northward here into portions of the mid-Atlantic and New England here during that period as well. And over the next 7 days, like I said, we got that big donut hole of no rainfall across portions here of Kansas, Oklahoma, western Arkansas, much of northwestern Louisiana, and especially north central Texas, just really not seeing any relief out there anytime soon. And that just continues across most of the west coast as well. Very quiet conditions here, lots of sunshine underneath that ridge here, but all that rainfall will be continuing to kind of push in across portions of New England, Ohio Valley, as well as the Mississippi Valley, with additional 1 to 3 plus inches across some of these areas towards Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Chicago, Madison, Wisconsin, down towards Nashville. You could see a lot more rainfall the next 7 days, as well as portions here of Florida. Definitely can see a couple more inches of rain for those areas here over the next week or so as well. kind of turning to the tropics here, kind of still watching Hurricane Darby spinning across here just east of the Hawaiian Islands. This is expected to quickly weaken in intensity here over the next couple of days, heading in towards the middle and late portion of this weekend. A tropical storm may kind of just go south of the Big Island there of Hawaii, and then kind of push off to the west-southwest of the Hawaiian Islands here is the expectation as we head towards that Saturday-Sunday time frame. And you can see Hurricane Darby right now, very kind of undefined, not really seeing any clear eye wall here anymore. So that really is kind of a sign that, yeah, we're really starting to weaken here, the center of low pressure, and we're not really seeing that eye wall anymore. So the storm is kind of starting to disorganize here, and that will continue as it kind of pushes into cooler waters over this area as well. As you can kind of see here, the model intensity here as we head through the next several, 48 to 72 hours or thereabouts. Yeah, really kind of rapid kind of de-intensification here across portions of just east of the Hawaiian Islands and then just south of the Hawaiian Islands as we move through the next couple of days. Of greater concern is actually here another system has a 90% chance here of development, and this could actually turn into tropical storm, if not Hurricane Estelle, as we head through the next 2 days to 5 days time here across portions of the eastern Pacific. Again, right behind Darby and right off the southwestern Mexican coast here. We're watching that system as well. Really starting to organize with some convection, really starting to gather around some of that center of low pressure here across portions of the eastern Pacific basin, and that will move off to the north and west here with time as well. And looking at this here, the bottom center of your screen, you can see that low pressure system really starting to gather as we head towards that Saturday evening time frame, and that really continues deep into around a 992 millibar low pressure system and possibly a tropical storm as we head into portions of your Sunday, Monday time frame as well. Heading in towards Monday, Tuesday, we can see a 986 millibar low pressure system. That could be potentially a category 1 or 2 hurricane as we head into that time frame as well. So we'll definitely have to watch this. Still some warm waters over the eastern Pacific as well, so that is important. And then a 985 millibar low as we head towards that Tuesday and even Wednesday morning time frame here and during the middle of next week, and then continuing to stay pretty strong here over the open waters of the eastern Pacific as we head towards late next week as well. And looking at this kind of with the precipitable water and how this is important to portions of the southwestern United States and those monsoonal areas, is that this low pressure systems actually spin counterclockwise, so we actually will see a lot of a slug of moisture moving around the eastern side of the system towards portions of the Baja of California as well as western Mexico, and then right up here into portions of Arizona and Utah as we head towards the middle of next week. And this is really important for that monsoon season, as this will really fetch a big northward slug of moisture into these areas as we head towards late next week as well, and that just continues towards next weekend here before that system does pull off to the west and northwest as we head towards late next week into late next weekend here as well. Looking across portions of the Atlantic, the Caribbean, the Gulf, just nothing to speak of here the next 5 days. Looking at the satellite picture, all these waves coming off Africa here, kind of staying more south across the far southern portions here of the Atlantic basin. And then any of these systems that do kind of try to get together here across the southern Caribbean actually cross over Central America. And that's why the eastern Pacific basin has just been so active of late. So that will continue to kind of be the case at least the next 5 to 10 days, I think, across some of these same areas here as well. So thank you guys for watching. Do appreciate it. Again, if you guys do enjoy watching here this video, definitely press the like button down below, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. I definitely would appreciate that as well, trying to get closer to 300 subscribers. So thank you guys for joining here this video here today, and I hope everybody has a great and wonderful Friday and weekend out.